Welcome back to the Blogsy guys, where we talk about what's going on in the blogosphere and we throw in a few app suggestions along the way. I'm Lance.
I'm Sean.
I'm Chusong.
Okay, so as always, we start off with drinks. Where's mine this week? This week it's cider. But I know, for all you North Americans at least, when you hear the word cider, you think apple juice. But it's not apple juice. It's the closest you can say is like 7-Up. But to me, it doesn't taste like 7-Up. It's a little bit sweeter. It has this sweet taste to it. I actually prefer 7-Up. I don't care for it a lot. Just personal taste. Actually, what I really like is Squirt. But you can't find Squirt in Korea.
Is it similar to 7-Up?
Yeah, but it's got a lemony taste to it, so it's a little bit different. And then, you can't really find 7-Up in Korea either because everybody drinks cider.
It's 사이다.
Cider.
Korea.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it, but I prefer Coke.
Yeah, same here. I prefer Coke too. Yeah, that's strange. They don't really have a competitor to Coke.
Yeah, no. Actually, Koreans try to make some cola, but they failed because of Pepsi and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. And I can't talk for all of America, of course, but where I grew up and when I grew up, Pepsi was kind of the young generation and Coke was for the old people. But in Korea, it's like Coke is the number one by far. Everybody wants Coke, and then Pepsi is the cheap knockoff they give free with pizzas or stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't feel difference between Coke and Pepsi really. Some people say it's really different. Do you think so too?
No, I think more psychologically I have a preference for Pepsi.
Oh, really?
Because of the reason I just explained. But yeah, they're really not that much
Some
different.
Koreans like Pepsi more because their logo looks like the Korean's national flag.
Taegukgi.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
I heard a rumor that a Korean made that logo, but I'm not sure about that.
It would have been a long time ago. That's been their logo for a
Yeah.
long time. So I don't know. Possibly. Okay, let's get started. What's the first story?
My first story, it's yours. Oh, no, my first story is actually this.
What?
Not a Blogsy website, but the new OS Lion.
Oh!
I installed the OS 10 Lion, and it has pretty cool new features like Launchpad. You can swipe between the pages just like the iPad or iPhone, and you can
And you can make the same kind of
you can make
folders.
the folder. And you can, if you long press, you can drag it to change the order, or there's some apps you can remove it. You can only remove the ones you bought on the App Store, Mac App Store. So yeah, I feel like it. And the most good thing that I think for Lion is you can do many things with the gestures, with your trackpad. You can swipe between web pages, like backward and forward. You can swipe between the I don't remember how they call this, but if you swipe up with 3 fingers, they show this
Control center, isn't it? Or Launchpad.
No, Launchpad is that icon thing, and this is
Something center, isn't it?
yeah, I knew that word.
You mean you didn't prepare for the podcast? Come on, man.
Anyway, mission control.
Mission control, there you go.
Yeah. And you can switch between the screen pages. I don't know. You can switch between the pages, and you can switch between the pages just for swiping with 3 fingers like this. And it's really, good for me. Like if you have 2 pages like this, you can open the mission control and drag something in here and use this full screen. And they're trying to make some full screen apps. Like so, the basic Apple apps have full screen mode, but not all Mac apps have full screen mode because it just released. But so, for example, if I open the photo booth, you all know photo booth, right? It takes very funny pictures.
Makes me look better.
So this is normal view of photo booth, but if you go to
Who's that?
oh, hi, I'm Sean. This is full screen mode of photo booth. Yeah. So this is example of the full screen mode of Lion.
Yeah, there's a few things. I haven't downloaded and installed it yet, and I'll get around to it. I use the gesture four-finger right a lot to get all the applications to go.
This one, right?
Yes. Now what does four-finger gesture right do?
They don't do anything with 4 fingers. They use only until 3 fingers.
So what happens if you do 4 fingers?
Same as 3 fingers.
Oh, and do you know if you can override that?
I looked for it, but there's no option for 4 fingers. You can only set
Wow.
1, 2, 3 fingers.
Really strange.
But
So
I'm sure that you can also do it through your 3 finger too, in your previous version of the OS 10.
okay, the other one I have that I do a lot is four-finger up to clear the desktop, or
Yeah,
clear
you
everything and show just the desktop.
You can do it with 3 fingers too. I'm pretty sure you can do it in the Lion too. If you swipe down with 3
Yeah.
or 4 fingers, it
That
shows
looks the
all.
same.
Yeah.
And then 3 is up. 3 up is what?
It's the mission control.
Mission control. So how do you get to your desktop?
Oh, I can pinch out with my 5 fingers like this.
Oh.
If I pinch in with my 5 fingers, it shows a launch pad.
Okay.
I like that gesture.
We won't go down that road. what are you doing there? The other thing that I heard and I really like, and I haven't used it, so I'm not sure about it, is I think you already made reference to. It's the full screen. You know, it's one of the things when I made the transition from a PC, from Windows to a Mac, it frustrated the crap out of me. I'm like, I want full screen. Well, Macs don't do that. Now you can, right?
Yeah, and actually it's much better than the Windows one, I think. Apple always waits for something until they make it, better.
Better. They don't want to copy.
Yeah, so it's the full screen of a Lion is not just full screen, it changes the layout and it just fits the screen and it opens the new window or page. So if you open an app in the full screen, it adds one more page, so you can swipe.
Go back, so you can go back and not be trying to close it to get what's behind it.
Right.
It just opens a new screen. Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
And one really big thing about the Lion is the scrolling direction. It's
Yeah,
opposite.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and I used it for a week and I'm used to it and it feels more natural, in the setting they call it natural. And so if you turn it natural on, you swipe, you can scroll with Lion's way.
But I noticed when you came to work on my Mac to show me something, you went to scroll and you're like, oh,
Exactly.
it's backwards.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure everybody gets the new software.
Or if I boot up with Windows sometimes when I need it, then it's totally confusing.
Another way for Apple to get their hooks in you.
Well, of course you can turn it off if you want the normal way.
Okay.
Yep.
On to the next one. Next one, I swear this podcast is turning into a Gizmodo podcast because every week I have something from Gizmodo. I love their site. This guy, man wakes from coma in a morgue fridge after being dead for 21 hours. So his family called and said he's dead. They came, picked him up, took him to the morgue, and then they checked all his vitals. The doctors there checked his vitals and then put him in the refrigerator, put a toe tag on him and everything. And then he wakes up later, like 21 hours later, and he's alive.
So I don't exactly don't know about the meaning of morgue. Is it
Yeah, where the dead people go. You ever watch like CSI or
Oh, yeah.
a place like
Oh.
some detective where they put all the dead bodies and they've got to determine how they died or
Oh,
like that.
I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
wow. It's like zombie movie.
Yeah. And it was really funny because Moto talked about, imagine if this guy woke up,
Yeah.
either the people there would think he's a ghost, right? Or what happens if they thought he was a burglar or intruder and they shot him?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so he's almost dead,
Wow.
wakes back up, and then gets shot? What a terrible life.
You're right.
But
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. Does this kind of stuff scare you at all? Worry you? Like being buried alive?
Worry me? I don't know.
Not even as a child or anything? You didn't think about this stuff?
I didn't actually think about that sort of stuff, but I saw a movie.
Mm.
Do you know the movie called Buried? It's about a movie about a man. He's transferred to Iraq as a soldier or a driver, but somehow he buried alive. And yeah, the whole movie is just shoot in the grave, in
Yeah.
the co-
Casket or whatever he's
Yeah.
in that box.
Yeah. But I think that movie is very amazing because it's a new approach. Like they don't only have one scene for the whole movie. Anyway, yeah, that's the first time I thought about that.
I guess as a child, maybe I had overactive imagination because I worried about stuff like that, buried alive or wrongly accused for a crime, and you're like, no, I didn't do it, but spend the rest of your life in jail. I guess I spent too much time worrying about unlikely things happening.
I love movies, so I have even thought that what if I like some villains took me and tie something heavy in my feet and throw me in the river. How could I survive? Yeah, I thought about that.
Which way would be the worst way to die to you? Burn to death, suffocate,
again.
or drown?
I think burn to death. I think that's the worst.
That would be the worst to you?
Yeah, because your skins are, burning.
Painful?
I think it would be painful.
But to me, that you go into shock relatively quickly. So yeah, for less than a minute probably, you're like and then you're just in shock. You don't realize it.
Maybe.
To me, the worst would be drowning.
Oh.
To go out in a ship in the middle of the ocean and the ship sinks and you're sitting there. How long do you have to paddle for your life until you get too tired and slowly? Drowning to me is just the worst thought.
Okay. But if you see the movie like Titanic, if it's like, normally in the middle of the ocean it's very cold, so you might be passed out.
Yeah.
It's too cold.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on where in the ocean, I imagine.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Scary stuff. I don't want to think about dying.
Yeah,
lucky for this guy. Yeah.
Right.
He woke up, went back to his family, and he's happy now.
So what happened? I didn't read this.
Yeah, he went back to his family.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
everything turned out all right for him. Yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully, like everybody's dream. Hopefully, we all die in our sleep.
As a Jesus Christ resurrection.
Yeah, come back. Okay.
Is it done?
Yeah, your story.
Yeah, my next topic is about Apple Store in the Grand Central station in New York. So there was a rumor that Apple bought some corner of the Grand Central station, but that some rendering released. This is some rendering image, so this is pretty cool. I went to New York last summer, but I haven't been to this station. But the station looks, in the picture, looks really gorgeous. And if they put Apple Store just like this, in the middle of the station, and it fits with that all the
aesthetics.
aesthetics in the building, it's really
Bunigi.
yeah. I think it's really cool. And one thing they brought up is all the people in that station who want to ride a train or catch the train, they can use the free Wi-Fi of Apple. When I was traveling the States, I'm a traveler, so I need Wi-Fi. But so I went to Starbucks and McDonald's, but the best Wi-Fi was in Apple. They didn't use any time limits, any logging. It's open Wi-Fi, but it's really fast. So if I found an Apple store around me, I just went there and checked my email and sent some photos.
I think too, this is really smart on Apple's part for this reason, and I think we're kind of struggling with it as far as Blogsy too. If you put it in an Apple store, then someone has to go out of their way to visit that store. And so what you get are people that are interested in Apple, people that are seeking out Apple products. And it's kind of what we're finding in Blogsy too. We've been covered in all the tech sites out there, or a lot of tech sites out there. And so everybody that's interested in tech knows about us. But what about the people that blog and are not interested in tech? Well, it's the same thing here, I think, what Apple's doing. Now you have these people that are in the station waiting for a train or whatever. They would have never made their way to an Apple store.
Exactly.
But they're there going, hey, what's this? I'm here, I got time, let's look at it.
Right.
And they've opened themselves up to a brand new market. Brilliant idea.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea.
Now we need to have some brilliant idea like this for Blogsy.
This train station is, people spend most of the time for waiting, right? So it'll be really good approach, I think.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And that brings me to the idea of hot news this last week was the 2 Chinese Apple stores.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear about that? Fake, totally fake. Even the employees thought they were working in that.
We didn't
for
talk
Apple.
about it in the podcast.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we should. I heard that the China government forced to close it.
Yeah, I heard they're forcing them to close. It's if they could get away with it, everybody seems like they're out to make a buck, even if it's.
The interesting part is that employee there thought that it was the official Apple store.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, I was unclear because I heard both ways. I heard that all the product was knockoff, so it's not real Apple stuff.
Oh, really?
But then I also heard that no, it's all real Apple stuff. So I have no idea which way it goes.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that. Think about that. If you hired from Apple, you thought you hired from Apple as a genius in the store. And, yeah, I wore the blue shirt and yeah, but it was fake. The interesting part, one last interesting part was that they rented it, not bought the space. Maybe it's
in here in Grand Central.
Yeah, they rented it for 10 years.
Yeah, I think maybe that has to do with laws. That's Grand Central Station would be a government place. It's not privately owned, so I don't think they can sell it. I don't know the laws, but that's what my guess would be.
Anyways, cool. Next.
Very cool. Yeah, this, I think it's a great idea. This is an Israeli design student, and I guess they were given a project where they had to use recycled products.
Oh.
Here, let's see.
Yeah.
I don't have it. Yeah, in what it says up here, right here. Yeah, Israeli design student. Her name really hard. Dror Peleg has designed free for his degree at this university, Jerusalem, focusing on the mass production of bicycles with limited resources. So they're using recycled resources. Old plastic bottles, all the old plastic, and basically giving molds that plastic is injected to. So they're saying that it can be set up and manufactured in any country using the local recyclable products instead of trying to manufacture in one country and send it all over the world. I think it's a amazing idea, and the big thing is everybody's saying this is so stinking ugly. You think it's ugly?
This one? No, it looks a little bit childish. It looked like a toy, but...
Yeah, that's what a lot of comments are. It's like mixing my whole childhood big wheel with a bicycle, or some people said it looks like a Barbie bike, like Barbie Ken should be riding. But I don't know. I think it's so cool that I would ride it, and you get a lot of attention. And I don't think what I was looking for is the weight. They said it's extremely strong, but they don't talk about the weight. Is it relatively light because it's plastic, or is it really heavy plastic? Because that makes a difference, especially living in Seoul with hilly hills.
Yeah.
But one of the other good benefits is the tires are solid, so you don't have to put air in them. So you never have to worry about flat tires. And actually, when they do the molds, the bearings are put in, and then the molds are made around them. So it's not like they make the rims and then they put the bearings into it. I just thought it was really interesting. It's a really brilliant idea. And this one, honestly, is the ugliest color to me. They have a bunch of other examples. I think this one looks
better.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It has quite a few of them. This one looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, pretty good.
And I guess they have a bunch of different angles too. I guess you can. They mold the seat. You have different molds depending on your height. So that's how they determine, okay, I'm taller, I need a higher seat.
Oh, like this? You can change the chair?
I guess. They don't, this site, they don't really go into a lot of the details. But, that's something in Korea I've noticed within the last year, maybe 2 years at the most. The younger generation are getting into these bikes. I see a lot of them, and they're very colorful, where they pick their different frame color and their rim color, and they're like single speed.
Right.
They're very unique style. They're expensive.
Yeah.
They're paying, I went and looked at them, and they're paying around Sambek, which is like $3,000. It's crazy.
Yeah, like you said, I also think that recently in the young generation, the bike is being more like a fashion item, not some transportation thing. Yeah, they bought really pretty and expensive bike. Also, the girls also buy some very pinky bikes and have the basket in front of it.
It's one of those embarrassment. We talked last week how you're embarrassed of Korea about something. I'm embarrassed of America. That in general, Americans don't understand the difference between Asian countries. And so I think there's a general perception of, all Koreans are on bicycles, because you see it all the time in China. Everybody's riding their bicycles, so they think, Korea's the same way. Actually, when I got here, nobody rode bikes. You almost never saw anybody on a bike.
I think Korea is the last country they use bike in Asia. I mean, Japanese ride bike much, and Vietnamese always ride bikes, and Chinese also, but not many cases in Korea.
I think one of the issues, and I don't know historically, but it seemed like when I first got here, it's just not bike friendly. The roads are difficult to ride on with bikes. Very dangerous. But they've been actually doing pretty good with building bike paths.
Right. Essentially.
Along the Honggang. Oh man, there's miles and miles. Sorry, that's the Han River. For miles and miles, both ways, you have these wonderful bike paths and parks, and it's really cool.
Yeah, they're improving. And that's also a little bit like embarrassing part. Not embarrassing, but riding bike is good thing. You save the environment. You save the fuel. You save the gas. And so in Korea is also government is also recommending people to ride bikes, and they make some good bike roads.
Well, what I found too, and this is culturally very interesting for foreigners, when I did see people riding, it was a lot like a club. You'd get these groups of people riding together,
right?
And they'd have these really expensive racing bikes, and they'd have all the racing outfits, spandex with the names on it, and the gloves and the helmets matching. And they're like ajumas, or ajuma is like an older woman, 40s, 50s, 60s, or older men. It's really an interesting culture.
Yeah, it's like social activity for them. they ride bicycle in the Han River, near the Han River. There's some groups and they teach them how to ride bicycles.
But it just surprised me. Why do they have to get all that gear? Riding a bike, you can get a cheap bike. Anyway, it's just a cultural thing.
It's like other hobbies, I think. If you start to dig into some buying cameras, you want to buy some other accessories, other stuff, and Apple stuff too. If you buy your iPad, you want to buy some smart cover.
Smart cover and stuff. Okay.
I think it's a similar thing.
Okay.
Is it?
Okay, I'm done. Next story.
Next story. Oh, it's about apps. I'm done with my 2 topics, so yeah.
Okay, go to the apps. And I think you're just rubbing it in. Like every week you got to bring up Facebook, don't you?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
To make you familiar to Facebook. Yeah, I was really waiting for and look forward to the iPad app, Facebook for iPad. And they didn't release it officially, but some people found it in the code of the Facebook for iPhone. So they jailbroke the iPad and they kind of hacked the codes and they catch these screen captures of the Facebook for iPad. And you can see here, it's pretty similar to the... oh, there's only one. Okay, maybe this is...
down here, 1 through 25.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it's very similar to the iPhone version of...
Is it adding them down here? Can you go down? It's adding
oh,
them here,
this
I
one,
think.
yeah.
So good thing we didn't develop a Facebook app.
Right. Yeah, but it used that iPad's UI pretty good because it has this kind of a column on the left, like the Facebook website. You can choose between different menus, and the photo view, and notification is pop-up window, all the iPad UI thing. And I like it. I wonder when they will release this, but I'm looking forward to it, and you're not.
No, and I just read today that they blocked it.
Yeah, right. They blocked it. They updated it, the Facebook app, and it's blocked it, I think.
Yeah, they can't do it anymore. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking for the ability to do it on my iPad, Google Plus, and I know there is a back way to do it, which I wanted to talk about in this podcast, but I didn't have time to actually go through the steps. But hopefully by next podcast, I'll walk you guys through the steps on how you can run the Google Plus on your iPad. Yeah.
Not in the mobile web.
No,
The actual app.
The actual app, and you don't need to jailbreak your iPad. So
because right now you can't officially install the Google Plus app to your iPad.
Right. You can. But there's a way around doing it. I did the same thing with before, when I had iPad 1 and I wanted to use iMovie. I got it onto my iPad 1 by doing it this way, and I didn't have to jailbreak my iPad. So
yeah, people find ways.
Right.
And because Facebook is releasing the iPad app, I think Google is also will follow Facebook. They're really competing each other. So Google will release the iPad version too, I think. Pretty soon.
Yeah. I'm just surprised with a company of their size and their means that they couldn't have it done in
I know.
a few weeks or something.
No, it's been too long. This is too late, I think.
Yeah.
Some other small companies made Facebook app for iPad and they got pretty much money, I think.
Well, like a high ranking. That doesn't always mean good money.
Yeah, but better than us. I think they were in the higher ranking than us anyway.
That's true.
And that companies will also, this is bad news for them, right?
Absolutely. You got to feel sorry for them. I don't know if there's something deeper behind. I almost get the feeling that Facebook is resistant to Apple. And instead of working together, they're trying to find different ways to go around and not have to work within Apple's guidelines.
And there is rumored that Facebook is developing some web mobile app platform using the web. So you can develop an app with the web. So you don't need to install the app from the iPad's natural OS. So it's called the Trojan horse, I think.
I don't know.
The code name.
Yeah, and the only problem I've found with that, because I've noticed some other sites, I tried it with a BuddyPress, which you get all the functionality except photo uploading. There's a problem with photo uploading when you do it that way.
Yeah, if you use web app, there's no way you can upload photos from your
Device.
iOS device.
And that's a huge limitation.
Right. I think you can do that in the Android devices. I'm not pretty sure, but
You can do anything on an
Yeah.
Android device.
not in iOS. That's pretty big gap.
I wonder if Apple did that intentionally, or
Maybe.
just if there's something that's
Maybe.
it's difficult. I don't know. I don't know. Okay,
Next one.
next one is this, and I know this was last week, all the rage, the news in the press, but the Star Trek iPad app, and I'm a huge Trekkie. I grew up in Star Trek 1, and then the new generation. I watched every episode at least once. I absolutely love Star Trek. It's foundation of my childhood.
So you call the people Trekkie.
Yeah, I'm a definite Trekkie. I love Star Trek. And actually, first time I saw this, I'm like, wow, cool! And I looked at it, and I thought, wow, what a brilliant idea! Look at the interface, and you could have gesture actions too, where just like they do in the movies or TV show, like and the four fingers were for the
Swipe?
no. Where's the transporters? There's a lot of computer animation, especially second generation. The iPad is perfect for. But then I looked at it, and the only thing it is like knowing facts about Star Trek. It just became pointless to me. I'm sorry, but I'm not a trivia buff. I don't want to know all the trivia. I thought, and I think someone should do this, but obviously there's copyright issues. But that same interface, and then have it integrated with your listening to audio or on your device, or even being able to email or watch YouTube videos or something, and have it. This is the interface that you can do those things. I think that would be just wonderful. I'd pay for that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe this is the start. They are preparing something more interesting. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. But this is official, and so it's owned, and so I think they look more at the bottom line, the dollars, and they're not looking at necessarily what's cool and what users would really like. They're like, is it going to make us money? And so I don't have a lot of hope that they're going to do something like that.
They say it's a CBS studio, so
Yeah,
they own the
CBS.
copyright.
I think owns copyrights to Star Trek.
Have you seen some video or something, or have you tried?
Well, yeah, it was all in the app review shows and sites and all that kind of stuff. So I've seen and heard a lot of people talk about it and what it does, and it's beautiful interface. It's really cool, but I don't want to know what episode Bones said, "Beam me up, Scotty," in. Or I don't know. That's not important to me.
Maybe some people won't know that, but in the Blogsy icon, there's something about Star Trek. Yeah?
Yes, there is. That goes back to our. Maybe. Because you guys are not real Trekkies, right?
No, I like the sci-fi movies, but not Star Trek. I mean, I like it, but I don't know much about it.
Right, and that goes in deeper. I was going to talk about that on the last space shuttle flight, but it did make it into our last podcast. I think this became a kind of part of American life because the government and society was trying to push American public towards space travel when the first rockets were going to space. But in Korea, you don't have that same history. So you didn't have that natural interest, so you don't have that foundation. And so, yeah, and Koreans don't tend to be, in general, into Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's American culture, part of American culture, I think.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, we did. If you guys can tell us where we put something, a reference to Star Trek, let us know.
Yeah.
Can you find it? It's an Easter egg.
Yeah, some kind of Easter egg.
Okay.
Yep. I guess this is my last one, my app suggestion. It's called Forecast. It's not a weather app. It's a social app, another social one, and it's location based. It's basically, it's like Foursquare, and they're using the Foursquare ID. You can sign in with your Foursquare account. And with the Foursquare, you check in when you get there, right? But this is, you check in when you will go, where you will go. So like, for example, if you go to a party tonight, you can check in right now. I'll go to this party at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. and it automatically checks in there when you reach there at that time, you know. And so that way you can communicate with your friends who will go there, or your friend will know that you will be there and it'll be interesting, so he can be there too, something like that. I think it's pretty good idea.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's a good idea. It's a step that was missing in Foursquare. But it also requires some forethought on our part. You know, we have to make plans, and I think in general, people don't make plans. You know, I just in general, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow other than work. You know, you do have some special big events, like you're saying, some Jenny's birthday party. Right. But just what are you going to do this Saturday? I don't know. I mean, that's the only kind of weak point in it.
Yeah, like you said, you don't know what you do tomorrow, but you can check in like this morning, that what will you do this evening, that way. Or
I'm heading there now.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it happened to me that I use Foursquare very much, but when I go somewhere, I thought that, I will check in there, but I forgot that sometimes. So I thought that, it would be good if I could check in like a reserve, or what is it? Schedule to check in. So this is some kind of that thing.
It's a good idea, and especially that seems to be the white hot market these days. You know, all this location-based checking in and everything. Yeah, absolutely.
And the makers the company is called Hurricane Party.
Hurricane Party, interesting.
Yeah. And there's an app called Hurricane Party too. It's an app that was released in the SXSW. Do you know that?
South by Southwest.
Yeah, South by Southwest. You know that conference, right?
Yeah.
In that moment they released that app is about finding party near you. In that conference, there's many parties around that area, right? So you can search for a party with that app, and they released this app too. And I looked into their company, and there are also 4 people, like 2 developers and 1 designer.
So a small company too. That's a good idea. I just thought, you know, it'd be good. You're talking about party. What happens a lot is if you go out, none of us are big drinkers, but back in the day, you know, when I enjoyed a beer or two, you'd go to an area, and you'd want to go to where all the people were dancing, the nightclub where everybody's dancing. But often it took you time going into all these places and like 5 people here, 10 people here, 20 people, and you wanted a packed house. Where's everybody at? But so how can you get that where everybody go, there's 150 people here or something? Because the owner would obviously try to override it. Yeah. So you have to block owners from doing that. Yeah, I don't know how you could solve that, but that would be a nice app to have. Something along, you said there, a hurricane party?
Yeah.
Something along those lines, but with the amount of people at the bar.
If there's like a fair amount of users there, if they check in, you can know how many people checked in there, right?
That's true, but I don't know the percentage of people that actually use Foursquare. You know, compared to the, and then not only that, but they have to be how many actually check in. You know, maybe they're out drinking and they're like, oh, they don't want to pull out on Foursquare. I mean, yeah.
Foursquare. I don't know. It's not that big in Korea, but it's pretty big in the States, I think, and I love it too. I love that badges.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, some of the badges are, you know, you're jealous because there's just no way you can obtain them. I saw you got a badge, like 2 continents badge or something like that.
Yeah, and if you go to New York, there's a Foursquare HQ, and if you go like below the, I don't remember the exact number, but if you go below some, like for example 57th Street, they give you a badge. And
that's not fair to us that don't live in New York.
Right. Yeah. And if you check in the ocean, they give you a badge like I'm on the boat.
Like that video, you know?
Yeah,
that video?
I saw that video.
I'm on a boat. Okay.
And I checked into the Foursquare HQ. Actually, I went there last summer. I contacted with someone there, but they didn't give me any badges. I was disappointed.
Did you tell them?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But yeah, they say yeah, it'll be good. But they gave me real badges.
Right.
You know,
Which is even cooler.
yeah, it's even cooler. There's a bag of badges, so I put my hand in.
Really? Well, I know you can get magnets that look like iPhone icons or iPad icons, and then arrange them on your refrigerator or stuff like that. Play with it. I'm curious if Foursquare has the same thing. If you can get their badges magnetic,
You can collect them.
right?
Put in your refrigerator.
Refrigerator or someplace like that. I
Good
wonder.
idea.
I don't know. Okay.
So, your last one?
My last one, and I just, you know, I guess my feelings about putting out an app suggestion, I want to put out ones that I get use out of. And if I get use out of it, I want to throw the developers some love.
Yeah.
And so here, I don't know how many of you viewers out there are actually from Korea or will be traveling in Korea. So I don't know how useful it's going to be for you general viewers. But this is Seoul Bus, and actually Seoul Bus 2, Metropolitan Bus. And it's really useful. And if you've ever been to Seoul, maybe it's like this in every big city, I don't know. The bus system is so complicated. It is really frustrating to figure out where to go to get where. And also, in Korea, they don't really have a schedule. I know, at least where I'm from in the States, the bus had a schedule. It's going to be there at 3:30, and you could bank that it's going to be there at 3:30. There's no schedule in Korea. It's like the bus driver makes up the schedule. Depends on how fast or slow he goes. So this app is really helpful. You go to the bus stop, and all the bus stops have a number on it. You put in the number, and it'll show you all the buses that are coming to that stop, and it'll actually show you when the next bus will arrive.
Right.
So, in 1 minute, in 2 minutes, and it uses GPS too.
Yeah.
So you can, if you're in the area of the bus stop, it can use your current location and find the bus stop you're at.
Yeah.
But also, you don't have to do that. So if you're sitting at home and you want to track down that bus stop, either you know it beforehand or you got to track down that bus stop, and you'll know when you need to leave your house.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. This was out when the first iPhone came out in Korea, and it was like one of the killer apps at the time. And very amazing thing is that some high school students developed this app, just one boy. And you know, there's some funny situation too, because you know in the high school there's the exam, right?
The Suno? Or just regular?
It's just a regular exam.
Okay.
So he couldn't develop it between that period. You know, so people ask him to update something, and I can't do it now.
I'm studying for my test.
And
Go ahead.
and there's some other issue too, that Korean government blocked this database because they thought they didn't want that some developers use their database. So they blocked it, but people complained it so much, so they opened it again. But they opened it in a weird way, so these students have to pay for the server. But this app is free, but he had to pay for the server, so he's spending his money to, give people this good app.
But then he put in-app ads, right, to generate income. But then the community rebelled and said, the government's giving away this information for free. Why are you charging?
Yeah.
Or why are you trying to make money off of it?
Yeah.
Which I think is pathetic. He should be able to make money off of his work
Right.
anyway. But who ended up stepping up for him and paying all the expenses related to getting the information? Someone stepped up and...
Oh, you heard it?
Yeah, I heard. Someone stepped up, right?
NHN.
NHL?
NHN, yeah.
Oh, the
NHN.
neighbor.
And neighbor.
They stepped up and paid, so now he doesn't have to have in-app or ads to generate income
really?
because they cover the expenses.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But still, he doesn't make anything. But I guess he got some notoriety, and that'll probably get him into a better university and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but the one thing that you don't see this a lot in Korea. In the West, you see a lot of high school kids starting businesses and working and developing stuff. Korean culture is very different. It's all about study, 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 study. If you're not studying, you're wasting your time. It's about getting into a good university. So parents really discourage this kind of stuff. So it's really cool when you see actually a Korean student do this and get some publicity for it. Because hopefully that's going to have effect on the community, the whole of Korea, and other parents.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I couldn't make Facebook when I was in high school. That was mine.
Because you had the whole idea, you had it all.
I had to study.
So anyway, I'm interested too. His family name is Yu. That's obvious. But what's the first name?
Oh, here?
Vane? There's no V in Korean. So
I think this is his ID account. Many Koreans when they use internet, they don't use their real name. They use some, very funny ID. It started from the 90s, but
okay.
Yeah, I think that Americans tend to use their real name when they use Twitter or Facebook or something.
Or do you know what this would come from? Would it be, there's no V in Korea, so it'd be Behain? Behain?
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like any Korean.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it's a Korean. It's from
Behain.
Korean. I think some
Behain.
kind of
Huh.
he mixed some word.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Anyway, that's my second app suggestion.
Yep. And it's
That's So the last segment, Blogsy.
Yeah.
Talking about Blogsy.
Blogsy.
I guess the big news is we just released another update for all of you, and the big thing that's in that update is Text Expander.
Right.
So
See
soon
this
you'll have Text Expander.
huge ink.
I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but starting the last update, we codenamed it The Monster. And we're continuing on with that. We're going to continue. Each update is going to have its own name. So this is the Imp. And Sean drew FOMO, our mascot, our character, as an imp. So that's what this is.
Yeah. Holding iPad.
Yeah. It's kind of our geeky, fun. We need to enjoy what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So this geeky little fun stuff adds
really
some
fun.
spice. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. We've already gotten quite a few comments back on Twitter, and people are really excited. Wow, cool! Now Text Expander. So, yeah.
And from this version, if you go to the setting in Blogsy, you can see this imp and you can see the version number, and you can go to this actual blog post to leave comments.
Right. That's I think is slick. It was hard to tell what version you were running.
Right.
So now in the settings menu, it's very, very obvious. You're right. Very cool. And you can see FOMO, or what do we call them? We call them Infomo. Infomo for imp and FOMO. Infomo.
Yeah.
So you'll see him there.
And look forward to what will be in the next update.
Yeah, that's our secret. Okay, I think that's all I've got to share.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.